Okay, well, that took forever. 10 minutes behind schedule. I'm a fisherman. I don't like being late. Guess there's one way we got to start this off. Go grab yourself one if you haven't already. All right, how's this work again? It's been so long. There are 4 people here. Hey, Worcestershire sauce, you're the first comment. What's up? So thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. I've done 2 of these before, and they were pretty fun. And so I want to do one again. But the real reason I'm doing this tonight is because it's Sunday night, and tomorrow morning is Monday when I upload my videos. And this is going to be Monday morning's video. I do have another video ready, but that's going to be next week. I'm very busy. I have a lot going on, and that's what I'm doing. It's my channel. I can do what I want. This is tomorrow morning's video. Fire. I see all your comments. Hello. This is Q&A. Fire at me with some questions. Brandon Berryhill, I recognize that name. He says, me and the kids are watching. What's up? And thanks for pointing that out, because I will try to keep this family friendly, as I do with all my videos. So just so you know that. Let's just pick one. How's the fishing on the Sacramento? I guess the Sacramento River. Never been there. I'd like to fish the Delta for stripers and largemouth. And the river upstream seems pretty cool. I really wish I could have seen it back in the day, like back when there was all kinds of salmon and stuff, and probably steelhead, I guess, too. There's this movie out there called Rivers of a Lost Coast. It's about all the Northern California rivers and how they used to have all these salmon and everything, and it's basically about the loss of all those fish. If you can find that movie, Rivers of a Lost Coast, it's really cool. It's well done and pretty informative. Here's one that we've been talked about, or I've been asked a lot. Do I fish for pike? Not a lot. I've had a lot of people ask for a pike video, and I do intend on doing one. But I don't know a lot about it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've caught a couple, and they were both hammer handles, 20, 24 inches, probably not even 24. But it's been a long time. But we do have some really good pike lakes around here, and I have some friends that pike fish. But I don't do it very often, mostly because we would typically do it from shore. And I just get really bored casting at nothing all day. If I'm streamer fishing out of a boat, I'm at least casting at something rather than just basically casting it out there as far as I can and stripping it back and hoping for a bite. So pike fishing from shore, I get bored pretty easy. But we're grown-ups now and we have boats. So I don't think I've actually been pike fishing out of a boat yet, but it's on my list. So hopefully some pike fishing, and I will go with somebody that knows more than I do. There are definitely some gaps in my fishing, and that is one of them. Mike Taylor's commenting, Spinney has pike. Yes, it does. But there's lakes. Spinney's too far away. There's better lakes closer to me. I don't know if they're better. But I'd rather go to different ones. All right, let's move on. This is sort of related to speaking about holes in my fishing. Jolyn says, hi, Ben. I have a steelhead trip in early May. Any flies and/or tactics you want to talk about? Not much, because that's another gap. I have hooked 2 steelhead in my life. When I was younger, I moved to Oregon. I moved to Hood River, Oregon for a few months, and I fished out there for the beginning of winter, and I hooked 2 fish, and they both got off. I saw both of them. One of them was over 10 pounds. It jumped. So that's another thing that's on my list. I think we talked about this in one of them. Yeah, I got a couple friends I'm gonna call. As far as tactics and stuff, I know that when I do it, I'm gonna be swinging. I'm not gonna be bobber fishing. So that's my thoughts on the matter. I'd rather swing for them. Give you a reason to learn how to spey cast, I think. Speak Spanish, sí. Why did I move to Hood River? I was trying to work at Mount Hood Meadows, the ski area, but it turned out to be a terrible snow year. And I was waiting around for the mountain to open to work, and it never opened. So that's actually how I ended up back in Colorado, right here, actually. That was about 20 years ago. Come to Utah and fish the Green River as well as small streams. Yes, I fish the Green River at least once a year. We have a trip there in March. We got to firm that up. I float it every late summer. We do an annual trip, ABC float, and it's one of my favorite places. But I never get to fish it because I'm always rowing. So I don't get to fish it very much, but I love being there. It's one of my favorite places. Favorite fly fishing meme account. I mean, probably, FFBI is probably the king of the castle, I guess, there. I don't know. But all the same ones that you guys know. I'll name drop. There's Purist on the Fly, Bead Sucking Worm. I like the Dirty Loaf. Forgive me if I'm forgetting you and I'm not mentioning you. There's one that, No Kipe's a good one. There's one that's not really fly fishing that's called Mogan Memes that you guys might like. I look at their stuff. It's not all fly fishing, but it's still all relatable. And there's one, check out, I don't think too many people know about it, called Bitterroot Pimps, about the Bitterroot, the root outside of Missoula. That's a good one too. It's kind of localized, but it's a good one. Let's see. Yeah, I thought FFBI was gone. No, I think it may be run by somebody else than it was previously, but it's back. A lot of people think it's me. It's definitely not me. He lies. He moved to Hood River for beer. Actually, the apartment that I was in was almost directly across the street from the Full Sail Brewery back then. I don't know if it's still there. It's, right in town. Jerry of the Day. I forgot about them too. Here's an interesting question. I'd have to think about this. How do you handle spot burners? Number one, don't invite them to go fishing. So how do you handle spot burners? Yeah, avoid them. Don't ask them to go fishing and call them out. Sure, why not? They deserve it. But that's a tough issue, because if they're calling out a spot that you don't want them to call out, then that's just creating more attention about the spot that you want to be quiet. So that might backfire on you. Have I ever gone to the Blackfoot in Missoula? Yeah, I got a friend that lives in Missoula. I haven't fished up there in a long time, but I fished up. I took 2 trips that were outside of Missoula, or based in Missoula. And we did, Blackfoot, Clark Fork, Bitterroot, Missouri, and one smaller stream that I won't name. It was cool, man. Everybody just boat fishes up there. I think the time we fished the small stream was the only time I saw anybody wade fishing. But I'd love to go back. Taylor asks, have you ever fished the North Branch of the Potomac? That's an interesting question. No. So I grew up outside of Baltimore, so I fished all over Maryland, obviously. And I fished right around the North Branch of the Potomac a ton. I used to go to the Savage a lot. And I would fish the small brook trout streams around there. But North Branch of the Potomac wasn't really on my radar then. As far as I know, it's mostly a boat fishery. I could be wrong. And I didn't have a boat. I was in high school, So I have not, but it's on my list. I got a friend nearby there with a boat. Don, if you're watching, hello. Take me fishing on the North Branch of the Potomac. So it's on my list. There's so much stuff on my list, though. I would love to get back and do like a whole tour of, Pennsylvania to North Carolina or something like that. and like dip over to West Virginia in the middle of that, and fish. I want to revisit some places I fished when I was a kid in like Maryland and West Virginia, and I guess a little bit of Pennsylvania, maybe a little bit of Virginia. But I would love to go back, and I want to go back in like April, because I just think that's the best time of the year there. You have flowers on the trees and on the ground, and everything's so green. But the problem is March and April, there's so many other things I want to do. Basically everything in the east and the south, like, you know, all across the south, I want to go in March and April. So it's hard to fit all that in. It's really hard. Am I sponsored by Moonshine Rods? Yeah, we're not going to touch that one. No. And you didn't ask, but I think they're crappy rods. And I have picked them up. And there was another question. I forgot where it went. Oh yeah. Favorite brand of rod. I don't have a favorite brand, you know, whatever's cheap for me or free. I haven't paid retail for a rod since I was a teenager. So I have a ton of St. Croix. God, I feel like we've talked about this too. I think this might get repetitive, but that's all right. I have a ton of St. Croix, but I'm phasing out of those. I've had those forever. So I've been fishing a lot of Orvis rods. Let's talk about my main rods that I fish all the time are an 8-weight H3 from Orvis, 9-foot 8-weight H3. I use that almost more than anything else. I use it for carp. I use it for trout streamers. I use it for saltwater. I use it for bass. So I think that is probably the rod that I use more than anything else. And then my nymphing rod, which I would be using, you know, around here right now, is an 11-foot 3-weight Sage ESN, but I don't use it really for Euro nymphing. I have a 5-weight line on a 3-weight rod, and but the rod weight designation is like so irrelevant. And so it's just I just use it as a nymphing rod, regular indicator nymphing. And then I would have my dry fly. My preferred dry fly rod is a 4-weight St. Croix Legend Ultra that's, you know, 20 years old or something, and it's, you know, it's been broken a bunch of times, but it's still called the Legend, or no, it's the Legend Elite, maybe, I don't know, one of those. And that is my favorite dry fly rod. It's a medium action 4-weight, really good for wade fishing, and I also do fish it out of a boat. And then I have the same rod in a 5-weight that I fish sometimes. If it's more of a windy day, I'll fish that rod for dry flies. And then there's the Echo Gecko, which is the kids rod, and I bought it for my kids, but I use that for small streams. Like if I'm on like 3-weight, 2-weight type water, little brook trout, I use the Echo Gecko. It's in a bunch of my videos. I think it's a 5-weight, I'm pretty sure, but it feels just like a 3-weight when I'm fishing it, you know. And I don't even know if it's fiberglass or graphite. I honestly can't tell. Like, it feels like fiberglass, but it's really skinny like graphite. So I don't know if somebody knows the answer to that, let me know. But it is a really cool rod, and I fish it a lot. And I think that's probably the bull. I also have I have a really old 6-weight Sage DS that I'll sometimes nymph with. I mean, that's a very old rod. I will sometimes nymph with that one. Hello from District Angling. What's up? Tell Rich I said hi, man. If you're in the DC area, District Angling is the place to go. That's the shop. So I think that's kind of my rundown on most of my rods that I actually use. I have a ton of others, or maybe not a ton. I probably have a dozen total. There's a Sage 4-weight LL. So these are all really old rods. Like, I've got a TFO in there somewhere. A couple fiberglass rods I think that some people have given me, but I think I use that 8-weight more than anything, which is weird because I live in the Rocky Mountains. Man, we're already, oh no, I got started 10 minutes late. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this for about an hour. Okay, comments are going really fast. I'm trying to pick something out here. There's some about Sage DS. Yep, I got one of those. Greetings from Atlantic Canada, Atlantic salmon fishing. Am I planning on doing that sometime soon? The chances of me doing that just got a whole lot better. Ted, I don't know if you're watching, but I'm planning on hitting you up for that. A buddy of mine has a cabin in the Cass Bay, so I will follow his lead on that one. I mean, it's on the list. It's not super high up the list, but it's definitely on the list. I mean, top 10. The list is pretty big, man. So that's really cool. Those rivers look just amazingly gorgeous. Super clear water, clear green water, and some of the fishy dry flies. So looking forward to that. Stop asking me about walleyes. I don't know anything about walleyes, man. Don't fly fish for them. I want to watch you try to spey cast. All right, let's talk about that. I have done it. I don't know about a bunch, but a fair amount. I had a spey rod and I sold it. I don't do it anymore. And I wasn't very good at it, but I didn't really dedicate myself to learning. But there is something in the works that is related to that. But that's not happening until early summer. Let's just put it that way. I put a deposit down on something. So there will be some spey fishing coming up. And I'm super lucky that the person that has invited me to do this thing I'm going with like the perfect person. There's nobody else. I mean, there's nobody I've shown me the ropes, but I've done it. I can do a pretty crappy snap tee, and I can cast overhead with it pretty good. I used to fish trout with it around here, and I took it to Alaska one time. So. Tarpon fishing video, ? I do have a tarpon fishing video out there. Well, I have something about it's called 10 steps to catching a tarpon, where I fake my way through knowing how to be a really good tarpon fisherman. You can still get some knowledge from it. It was a pretty old video, but it's worth watching. And then I did a baby tarpon video recently, last couple months ago, and is that it for tarpon? I don't know. I've been tarpon fishing for almost 10 years now, probably, but I'm not really good at it. And I've leadered one big fish over 100 pounds, and I've caught some small ones. And I caught a 40-pounder with Colin too that one time, even though it was hooked in the eyeball. I wasn't real happy about that. But along the tarpon lines, I will be in Florida in a couple days. So no real set plans for tarpon fishing, but there are tarpon in Florida, and I will be in Florida. So we'll see what happens. Smallmouth bass video, ? Yeah, if I go back east, absolutely. First fish I ever caught in a river on a fly rod was a smallmouth bass. And I'd like to go back to that same place, man, and see how much it's changed. I think it's probably changed a lot. So yeah, smallmouth bass will happen. And then I'd like to go to somewhere on the, western slope of the Appalachian Mountains and do some smallmouth fishing there too. I think I've never done that. And they got some cool rivers that you can fish from a boat. And I used to smallmouth fish the Potomac around Harper's Ferry a lot. And it was fantastic, but apparently it's taken a bit of a nosedive in the smallmouth fishing. But maybe I'll get a chance to find out one day. Where am I from in Maryland? I'm from Columbia, Maryland. It's halfway between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. There was a fly shop back there called in Ellicott City called Wolf's Fly Fishing. I worked at that fly shop. I don't know if anybody knows that. This was a long time ago, and the fly shop's long gone. There's another fly shop that was poorly run and owned and managed that went under. And I've worked for so many of those shops. They're not all terrible, but it's amazing how I'm not a great businessman, but it's amazing how bad most fly shop owners are at business. It seems like, and then you get the rare few that are crazy good at it, or maybe they're not even just crazy good. They're probably just good and it works, and the other people are just so bad. I have had to chase so many paychecks from fly shops and in the fly fishing industry in general, to be honest with you. So if you're looking to make money in fly fishing, get ready to pry it out of people. All right. I need another one. I have them right here. Potomac smallmouth has been rough the past 5 years. Yeah. How's Rudy? Rudy's good, man. He's getting big. Rudy's our new puppy, and he's a mini Aussie and poodle mix, but he's not real poodly. He looks like a mini German Shepherd. He's only about this big. He's super cool. He's not going to get very big. He's a little boat dog. My wife and I basically couldn't agree on what dog to get, and she said, well, I'm just going to get my own dog. I said, all right, I guess I can't really argue with that. You know, of course, as long as every time he craps on the floor, you have to clean it up, and not me. And of course, you know what happens when she gets the dog and I don't want the dog. Of course, I love the dog and the dog loves me. So of course, I didn't name him. Lee actually named him. I kind of picked it out though. So Rudy's good. He looks like a little German Shepherd. Excuse me. How drunk was I when you filmed? Were you when you filmed your fish photography video? Not. Is that the one in the hot tub? No, I wasn't drunk at all. I've never been drunk in any of my videos. I know there's a lot of beer in them, but I would never show myself messed up. But actually, when I was filming that one in the hot tub, it was pretty funny. It was at my buddy's house, and he has like his daughter at the time was probably like 12 years old, and she had some friends over, and they kept like opening the door and looking through the curtain and laughing at me because I was looking like an idiot. So it was pretty funny. They got a kick out of it. Everybody got a kick out of that one. That feels like so long ago. And there's all those old videos. I hate going back and watching them, man. I could do them so much better now. And I feel sometimes I want to go back and redo old topics, but I haven't taken that step yet. Does every fish trip feel like it needs to be filmed for YouTube content, or do you keep some trips just for fun? Josh, that's an excellent question, man. And that is I definitely have to find the balance there. And it's like going, it's like why I don't want to guide professionally year round. It's because then I don't want to fish. And along those lines, yeah, the short answer is I do go fishing and don't film it. And I also, as you've seen in my videos, I will put the camera down and not mess with it because it is work. But 95% of the time I'm filming, or at least have the camera stuff ready to go, and it's there with me. But I definitely do set aside some time to fish without it. And part of the reason is that there's somewhere I like to fish that I hope I will never show on my channel. And if you know me or have been looking at my stuff for a long time, then you might know where that is. But I do set some boundaries there. But mostly I'm working all the time. I mean, why go fishing and not make money from it when I can go fishing and make money from it? That's what I'm doing here. And I mean, I'm sorry if that sounds disingenuous or whatever, but I'm generating income from all of this. And that is kind of the whole point. I would like to quit my day job and just do this. So thanks for buying all my stuff. You guys have bought a ton of stuff. The stickers and everything, it's like out of control. So thank you. It really helps. Actually, I mean, legitimately, work has been very slow lately, and it was nice to have merch sales to get me through this time. That's no joke, I'm literally, you're paying the mortgage. So thanks. Yeah, what's my real job? I'm a home inspector. I've said this a few times. I'm a home inspector, and that's super boring, so we don't need to talk about that. Every single question is, what is your day job? Bass on a 5-weight? Little bass, yeah. But and you could catch the fish on the 5-weight. The problem is throwing the flies. Yeah, that's more of the issue, is those, if you want to throw a big fly. I used to do a lot of bass fishing with, little leeches like that big, but I also like bass fishing with deer hair poppers, which are not cool to throw on a 5-weight. What is your driving force for creating your YouTube channel? Well, I think I just talked about that. Where do you see it going? That's a good question, because I don't know. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. They were talking about or asking me about my journeys so far, my journey through all of this. How do I feel about it or whatever? And I'm like, well, I feel like it's the very beginning. I'm 2 years into YouTube anyway, but I feel like it's the very beginning, and I don't know where it's going at all. Right now, it's going to Florida to do some fishing, and then it's coming home. So let me tell you about Florida. I think I talked about this a little bit in a video, but it's going to be a really cool trip. And actually, I'm glad I'm talking to you about this, because I might need your help. So normally when I go on a fishing trip, I am going to see a friend, and I'm going to be there this day, whatever. 2 to 4 days is usually what I do. And I'm going to go hang out with them. We're going to do this, or at least be based out of here. But this time is different. I'm lucky enough to have friends all up and down Florida. So I'm going to fly into Orlando. I got some things over in that area that I'm going to do. Maybe do some fishing on Mosquito Lagoon. And then I'm going to work my way down the East Coast to Key West. I got a plane ticket into Orlando, a plane ticket out of Key West, and a minivan. I've rented a minivan in case I need to sleep in it. And I'm going to hit up my friends along the way. But I don't like to talk about the weather too much, but apparently the weather might not be real favorable, but that's why I'm going to be mobile. And then some friends just had some kinks thrown in their schedules. So I might put something out there and like, hey, I'm here in South Florida, or maybe not even South Florida, and I need someone to fish with. And basically that means I'm looking for a boat ride. So I don't care what we're fishing for. So don't bombard me with invitations, because I do have some plans already, but I need contingency plans. I'm not going to fish every day. I'm going to be super mobile. I'm going to do a lot of filming. I'm going to have my drone. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's next week. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there over a week. I have like 6 days to work with for fishing or something like that. Goliath grouper on the fly. Yep, doing that right from the airport. Turn on the donations? How do I do that? I didn't know I could do that. Oh my gosh. Where's the settings? Oh man. Well, I messed that up. Thanks for the heads up. Dude, it took me like 15 minutes just to get this going. I screwed it all up. Oh, sorry, I'm poking around here, see if I can get paid for this. I think I can monetize it later on. So I guess that's what we'll do. Wyoming. Oh, it's Brooke Clevenger. Yes, hello. Wyoming is your next stop. It's not my next stop because everything I want to do up there is frozen right now. But yeah, it's on my list for sure. Especially your area is really cool. What is your biggest brown and rainbow trout? Good question. Biggest brown trout was like 36 inches, but it wasn't stocked, but it was from private water. So I don't really like to claim that one. It was in a pond inlet on private water. So public water, Probably, probably. I don't know, I think there's a couple that have been about 25. I think there's been a couple. There's a couple that I can think of, and actually, they were both on hoppers. They were 25, and I might be fudging an inch there. Rainbow trout. I caught a 29-inch rainbow trout on public water, on a elk hair caddis fish like 10 feet deep, and that was forever ago. So it was probably like 23 inches. I don't know. I've caught a bunch of other big ass rainbows though. Just go to a tailwater, you know. That's weak. What's weak? My brown trout from private water. Yeah. Hey, at least I, clarified it. We already talked about that one. You ever fished the Yampa? Yeah, it's been a while. I used to fish the Yampa is a river in northern Colorado outside of Steamboat. I used to fish the Yampa before they messed up everything below the tailwater, and I had a great time there. I thought I was so cool. I used to sight nymph fish and just destroy things up there. But then they went and messed up all the. I know the river wasn't really natural before that, but they did all these changes to it. They blocked half off for spawning. I can't knock that, but they made the river smaller, and now instead of holding 50 anglers, it holds 12. So I mean, they made it more natural, but they messed up the fishing. It used to be better. And it's not natural to begin with. It's a tailwater. So, I mean, I see what they did, but I think they should have just left it. And then I fished the Yampa elsewhere too. And actually one of those big brown trout that like 25-inch brown trout that I caught on a dry fly was on the Yampa, not at the tailwater. I will not say where it was, but it was not on the tailwater. And it was on public water. I would like to float the Yampa. I know it's a limited season, and dude, apparently one of those Yampa floats that they do, like if you don't have private ramps, you have to go like 28 miles or 26 miles in a day or something. That's ridiculous. I don't know how you even do that. So I'm going to try my best to get some private boat ramp access, which I think I can do. Ever hit up the Arkansas over by Salida? I have. It's okay. I think it's fine. You know, if you want to catch 13-inch browns, it's nothing wrong with a 13-inch brown, but I think there's other things I'd rather do. And I also don't like fishing next to the highway, to be honest with you. I don't like the highway next to the river. And I know there's spots where the highway is not next to the river, but I usually drive past the Arkansas going somewhere else. Although, if you want to show me something, go take me somewhere, show me something new. The Arkansas is like the pooter. It's the highway is right next to it, and it's 13-inch browns. Obviously, there are bigger fish here and there, but you know what I'm saying. They're both really pretty freestone rivers, though. I mean, they're gorgeous rivers. Do you ice fish? Good question. Yeah, I do. I went once this year. I went a couple weeks ago. I don't ice fish a lot anymore. I used to have all this gear, but I was always kind of the ghetto ice fisherman, hand auger, sitting on a bucket. I never had a shower or anything like that, but we used to go a lot. I caught a 36-inch lake trout. We'd lake trout fish. That's what we do around here because there's a bunch of big reservoirs. Lake trout is what we did. But my gear sat there for years, and it just collected dust. And then I had the kids, and I want to get the kids into fishing. So I would give them the ice fishing rods to play with because they're like this big, and they just wrecked them all. But that's fine. They were all cheapos to begin with. So I think there was a couple years where I didn't go at all. And then 2 years ago, a good friend of mine started an ice fishing guiding service. He was a fly fishing guide in the summertime, and he did other things in the winter, but he wanted to guide year round. So he started a ice fishing guide service. I'll go ahead and plug my friend Adam Long at fishwinterpark.com or icefishwinterpark.com. You can hire him summer, winter, fly fishing, lake or like boat fishing on a reservoir in the summer, or fly fishing, and then ice fishing in the wintertime. Anyway, so Adam's got all the best stuff, and now I go ice fishing with Adam, and I just show up. And literally, the other day all I brought was a couple beers, and I just showed up, and everything's there for me. The electronics. We didn't have a shelter that day because it was nice out, but I mean, he's got the shelter, the heater, everything. So I'm pretty styling now. When Adam's not busy, he can fit me in, and hey man, I'm just out fishing. I don't have clients today. You want to come out? And I love it, man. And so when I was ice fishing on our before I was fishing with him, we didn't have electronics or anything. I mean, we did it for years and years that way, but now we do it differently. And the electronic is, man, I mean, I don't have to tell you how awesome it is. It's like a video game. It's ridiculous. The fish is there. So I do like ice fishing, but I did it once last year. I did it once this year, and I don't know if I will get a chance to go again. So I wish I could do it more. Montucky or PBR? I must know. I'm gonna go with PBR on that one. I mean, Montucky's good, but I don't think you can get 30 packs in Montucky, right? It's quantity, not quality over here. Ever fish for bull trout? Any plans to? Yeah. I have. So I mentioned earlier that I lived in Hood River for a little while, and on the Hood River, I caught a fish that I think was a bull trout. I'm not real up to speed on all the different chars up there, but it wouldn't have been an Arctic char. It was in the Hood River, right? Or a dolly. Wouldn't have been a dolly there either. It had to be a bull trout. Anyway, so I caught that. So I guess I have caught a bull trout. It was like 20 inches maybe, so not real big. Maybe possibly an inch or two longer. Pretty skinny too. But if I was going to fish for bull trout, I would obviously be in Canada. I mean, Alberta. That's where I would go. I'm not going to do it in Montana. Well, unless I go to the South Fork. Yeah, South Fork of the Flathead. I'd fish for them up there. But I'm going to do it legally, not like those other guys. I did see one. So I mentioned earlier I was on one of my trips to Missoula. We fished a tributary. And I was going to, there's like a big pool and then a riffle. And I was going up into the tail out of the next pool. So I was literally I was walking up the riff. It was more of a waterfall than a riffle, but I was walking up the middle of the creek, and I about stepped on a bull trout that was at least 3 feet long and this big around. I think it was a really big male. Just the way I saw the shape of it. I mean, I thought it was a rock, and I almost stepped on it and it swam away. That thing was incredibly big. Like, I saw the details on its fins. It's like burnt, like the white edge. Oh man, it was crazy. So yeah, that'd be cool. That's not super high on my list, to be honest with you. I think it'd be awesome though. Those rivers are beautiful, and you can catch a lot of awesome cutthroats while you're doing it too. Have you ever fished fly? All right. Might upset a couple of you here. Have you ever fished the Salmon River in New York? No, I haven't. But that just makes me think of the Chinook salmon fishing in the Great Lakes. Man, I'm sorry. I think that's a bit of a joke. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm probably alienating some of you, and I shouldn't say this, but when I see all those colored up Chinooks from the Salmon River and area, I gotta shake my head a little bit. Sorry, it's my honest opinion. I believe in being honest with you. So many questions about Great Lakes steelhead. They're not as bad as the Chinooks. They're Chinooks. Let's put it that way. What's your biggest brook trout? I think it was 24 inches, and it was on the Watauga River in North Carolina. It was 100% brood stock. Wild brookies, That's a pretty good question. Probably about 17. So I wonder if those. So I caught some really big ones on Hunting Creek in Maryland. Those couldn't have been wild. Those couldn't have been wild. And then I've caught a few big ones in Colorado that were 16, 17. I'm not going to say where, but I've caught a few that were right there, right in that range. Why are the bumper stickers so small? So I can fit in an envelope and send them to you. That's why. And I don't know. It's funny. Have you ever tied an articulated midge? No, but I was just talking about them yesterday. That came up in something. No, I haven't. I don't have time to tie silly joke flies, man. I have time to tie leeches, woolly buggers, Chernobyls, and that's about all I tie. Oh, I did those bass bugs. That was pretty cool. I made like 12 of them. I'll live off those for like 2 years. Mallison for Browns. I can't stay awake that late. And I've never tried it during the daytime. So I've done it some, but it's one of those things that I was talking about earlier. There's a hole in my fishing, which there are plenty of. I'm not Tom Rosenbauer. Come on. Smallest chubby you'll fish? That's a really good question because I fish small ones generally. I fish a 10 or 12, which I wonder if I have one. You can't see it, but this is my fly tying desk behind me. No, it's either a 10 or a 12. I can't remember, but I fish a small one, and I think it works really well because it's still like a pretty big fly, but it's not big. And I don't know, whatever I'm doing, the fish are eating the hell out of it. So I don't know if it's the size or my supreme skill, which is undeniable. But I really think I think the fish like that smaller hopper, and not just the chubby. I fish if I'm wade fishing, I fish a parachute hopper a lot, that shorter parachute, and again I fish a smallish one, and they eat it for me, man. Chicken bones in the river or on the boat? Excellent question. I missed your name. Just G. I talked about this in a video. I cannot remember which video, but I throw my chicken bones in the river. There's probably some people that don't agree with that, or the river or the ocean or wherever I am. Leave No Trace probably doesn't agree with that, but I throw them in the river. I tell myself that it helps the trout bugs grow and, the little crabs in the marsh, and it's feeding the ecosystem. So if you don't agree with that, I'm sorry, but that's and the number one takeaway I think for throwing chicken bones is make sure you don't throw them where a dog can get them. So don't throw them on the shore or anything. And if you're with a dog, try to not let them see where you're throwing it, because I've seen them go in the water after the chicken too. Sometimes it sinks, sometimes it floats. So I throw my chicken bones in the water, but be mindful of dogs. How should you fly fish in dark waters with dark flies that push a lot of water? So fish can't see the fly. There is one argument that says you should fish bright colors in dark water, but I think that's pretty much been, I don't know about debunked, but dark colors are way better, like black and purple. It's pretty classic dark muddy water fly. And then a fly that pushes a lot of water, and by that, it moves water. It's bulky. That helps too. So the fish can feel it through its lateral line. I think the lateral line is incredibly not misunderstood, but not understood enough, and we don't put enough emphasis on it. I think if you're trout fishing in a river, that's not as important as if you're like pulling in a skiff and the water's still and there's fish around. or maybe it's just in bigger bodies of water where they're less turbulent. The lateral line is so incredibly important, and we have this much of an understanding of what's really happening and what they're really feeling through the lateral line. I am not a fish biologist, but I did study to be one. Let's see. Chicken breast or drumsticks? Drumsticks, the legs are probably my go-to just because it's got a handle on it and I can eat it with one hand when I'm doing other stuff on the boat. But for flavor, thighs. Definitely thighs. I'll do a breast for bulk. I absolutely love your channel. Lots of respect. Shout out to Finn Henderson. Thanks, dude. Thanks for watching. New Mexico River recommendations. Small list there. Go to the San Juan and book a trip with James Gerritsen from About Trout. He'll take you to the Chama too if you want to go there. And he's got some private access for guiding up around Pagosa. So the San Juan's cool, you know. I went there for the first time in 2012, and I fished it for like 2 or 3 days, and I was like, I'm never gonna go back there. But I've been going back to fish with James, and the river's fine, you know. It doesn't blow me away, but it is a good place to go if you want to catch fish and hang out. So like when I go there, it's more about hanging out with James. But it's such a consistent fishery. I'd like going there because I know we're gonna bump into some fish. Whereas there's a lot of places where I go where I don't really know if we're gonna catch any fish or not. So that's it's reliable. The San Juan is very reliable, I think, and that's, in my opinion, the best thing about it. A lot of the fish are stocked. There's some not great things about it, but it's super reliable, in my opinion, or in my experience with it. Best river in Georgia, the Sequoia. Duh. No, no, don't. I see a couple other ones named here. I don't think we need. Well, I mean, yeah, I'd love to fish the Toccoa. So when I was a kid, I used to go to camp, summer camp, right outside of Toccoa, Georgia, and I never have fished around there. And I know there's brook trout streams. We used to hike around all these streams, and I never saw a brook trout, but I know they've got to be in there. And I know the Toccoa is something, so it's not the Sequoia. Oh, wait, you already had a question, but I'm gonna do this one. I'm going to give you this one anyway. Oh, I'm going to turn it into I'm going to put a spin on it. Have I ever fished the Blue River in Silverthorne? Yes, I have. Maybe once or twice, but the Blue River in Silverthorne is the dumbest place you could fish in college. Well, maybe not in college. Maybe not the dumbest, but it's one of the dumbest places. I hate it. It's stupid. You will not see me there unless it's for a joke. But on the other hand, you should go fish the blue and Silverthorne. You should. You definitely should. Because then you're not going to be fishing where I'm fishing. I had this conversation again recently with somebody, and I'm so thankful that places like the Blue River and Silverthorne exist, because they are such an enormous suck of anglers. Everybody goes there. And that's that many people. It's not this many people. It's this many people that aren't going where I'm trying to go. So, hey man, if you want to go catch a big rainbow, go to the Silverthorne, or go to the Blue and Silverthorne, go to the Pan, go to the Taylor, go to the South Platte, go catch your big rainbow. That's awesome. You can pull all the flies out of them. You can get the highway or the shopping malls in the background and all the other anglers. That's not what I'm after right now. And I'm gonna call myself out on being a hypocrite. I used to fish the hell out of the Pan. I guess more of the lower river, but yeah, go to the Blue and Silverthorne. It's awesome. Midges too. It's all midges. Trout spey. Stop asking me. I don't do it. Sorry, that was rude. No, we talked about spey fishing a little bit earlier. Trout spey is just a smaller version, and it's applicable. Sorry, that was really rude of me. Got any GameStop stock? No, that's a timely question. Let's watch this in a year and go back to that question. Can you do a backflip into a pool? I've never had the balls to try one on skis. I'm not cool enough for that. And I think my days of attempting to do that are definitely over. Best state for small stream trout? Anything with mountains. Colorado's a great state for it. I'm sure Montana is too. Colorado or something in the southern Appalachians, maybe? Good question. I need to do some more research on that. Favorite warm water fish on the fly? Carp. Carp. Yeah. Sight fishing, second will be bass, but carp for sure. All the carp fishing we do is pretty much all sight fishing, and they get a lot bigger than bass. I haven't caught many, I haven't caught any bass over 20 pounds, and I've caught a lot of carp over 20 pounds. But carp don't blow up on top, so that's pretty cool too. Ever fished in South Dakota? No, but the sorry, I'm just laughing at another comment. The Black Hills seems pretty cool. The hugest fly fisherman is who? Yeah. Boundary Waters canoe area? No, I have not. I'm fishing for an invitation. Here, I'm scrolling back a little bit. Going for a guided trip for my birthday. Any personal recommendations? Oh, this is local-ish. Was thinking about booking a trip at Angler's Covey. Sure, Angler's Covey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody there personally. If you want to message me privately, I will give you some specific fishing guides. Call the dude that I just mentioned earlier, Adam Long, Fish Winter Park. But any personal recommendations? Yeah, watch my video about how to be a good client. I think that's the biggest takeaway there, because you can be a pretty awful client, or you can be a client that gets kind of the extra hookup. For the right client, your guide will do things that he wouldn't for other people. Maybe row a little longer, drive a little farther, work a little harder, take you to A. So we have this thing called like A spots and B spots and C spots. I'm not taking everybody to my A spots. You got to try to be the A spot guy. Don't be the B spot guy or the C spot guy. I think that's the best way to put it. Let me find something here. Oh, I've never heard of that river. Somebody says I'm humble. Yeah, super humble. Come on. Have you watched my videos? Musky fishing. It's like pike, man. But I think if I was going to go musky fishing, it would probably be the on a river rather than like Great Lakes style. I think I'd probably end up doing that. Tom Jackson, you're late to the party. What's the topic of tomorrow's video? This is it. You're watching it right now. Collaboration with the Guggen Squad. That'd be cool. I think those guys are a little out of my league, but if they have any interest in fly fishing, I'd be happy to roam down the river. There are some I like better than others. Let's put it that way. You could probably guess which ones. Interesting question. Nick asks, what do you think about while fishing? It's a really good question, man. Why don't you guys comment what you think about also? I think about a lot of things. If I'm filming, I think about this stupid camera on my chest. I think about what I'm doing with fishing, but I daydream all the time, or I'm looking at, or I'm spacing out. Like, look at that bird. Oh, look, a cloud. And then your bobber goes down, right? I think about that. I daydream or space out when I'm fishing and filming, but I do like, so I talked earlier about fishing without the camera. There are times when I'm a little stressed out where I go fishing to, work through some stuff in my head. And I think fishing is freaking amazing for that. Usually I've got it worked out by the just in the drive to fishing. so then I can just have a good time fishing and not have to be stressed out. Not even stressed, just, what I'm saying. When something's weighing on your mind and you got to think through it, fishing's really good for that. All right, we're coming up on an hour. Let me do one more beer. Would you collab with Scotty from Wild Fly? Scotty and I have talked on the phone. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's called a teaser. There's another question about the same thing. Favorite fly fishing book? Bradley, great question. I don't do a lot of recreational reading anymore. And as far as like a novelty type book, I never read all, I never read all the classic stuff like, Zane Grey or whatever. I read a bunch of Gierach books when I was younger. And those are probably good. So if you were looking for storytelling, John Gierach's probably my favorite author. But my favorite fly fishing book is Curtis Creek Manifesto, 100%. And somebody just pointed out the other day that this book is 50 years old, man. But it's like a cartoon, but it's instructional fly fishing, and it's just the most basic. It breaks the most basic stuff. It's like if you take my basic videos and break them down into it's like a comic book almost. Not comic book, but it's cartoony illustrations. But it's just all this simple stuff. And the Curtis Creek Manifesto is, if you're looking to learn how to fly fish, that's the best book, period. It's kind of geared towards trout fishing, but there's a ton of other stuff that's relatable to any fly fishing, like rigging or equipment stuff. So look at Curtis Creek Manifesto. It probably costs like $10. It's a little thing. It's like a magazine. So that's a cool book. And then I forget about John Gierach. Thoughts on glass rods? They're cool. I like them for dry flies. That's about it. I would not want to nymph with one. I know some guys that streamer fish with them, and I think I should try that before I decide that I don't like it. But I'm pretty sure I'd rather have a graphite rod in my hand for streamer fishing. But for dry fly fishing, yeah. I don't fish them very much, probably because I fish with the Echo Gecko that I was talking about earlier. And most of my stuff that I would do with glass rods, I'm doing with that rod. But I've had a couple that I fished with for a while. And we had one that was like a traveling rod called Laverne. It was an old Wonder rod, 7.5 foot 5 weight. And it traveled around between a bunch of friends. And I'm really upset that I can't remember who started that. I was the first person to, it was Justin. Justin got the rod. And I think I was the first person he sent it to. And it was like a traveling rod and traveled around to a bunch of our people. And there was like a journal that went with it. And I got that rod and I caught so many big brown trout on grasshoppers with it. It was crazy. I went out to one of my favorite places and for a session, I'm like, all right, Laverne, let's do this. And it was I don't know. I probably caught 12 fish in the afternoon, and 6 of them were over 20 inches. Biggest one was probably 24. I got pictures of them and all, everything. If you look back through my old Careless Ethiopian Instagram account, there's some pictures of some fish with a wonder rod next to them. It's years back. It's way back there. But man, I caught a giant rainbow on a damselfly that was like this. And this is all in a river. That's my glass. That's what I think of when I think of glass, is that particular rod. And then that rod went all over. It went to Alaska. It went all over the place, and it finally, I think it died in Isla Morada on a tarpon. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I can't. Oh, it went to Canada. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let me scroll around here. Oh my goodness, I am not even going to respond to your comment. Most famous person in my boat ever. That's a really good question. Not famous. Like most of you probably don't know who he is, but I had the head product designer for Orvis in my boat a couple times. Love to fish with you again, Sean, whenever you get your butt back out here again. Somebody's asking, Careless Ethiopian, the Instagram account, was you? Oh, so much stuff makes so much sense now. Yeah, I just thought that was common knowledge. That was me, man. That was my personal account. Well, it was my everything account. And then when Huge Fly Fisherman started to get bigger, I just made an account for Huge Fly Fisherman, and I couldn't handle both accounts at the same time. I had to chop one out. So if Careless Ethiopian is not, there are some pretty good stuff over there. I haven't touched it in a long time, and it's not family friendly. And part of what I'm doing now, I think it needs to be family friendly, for the most part. So if you look at the Careless Ethiopian account, there's some really good stuff there, but it's not active, and you might see an F-bomb. Hey, look who's here. Purist on the Fly. What's up, dude? I think I dropped your name earlier. Somebody was asking about meme accounts. Wondering who the better fisherman is, Staschewax or About Trout. Yeah, it's not even close, pal. I think you know where that one is. When I met Chris probably 18 years ago. I don't know, something like that. And he had been he knew, he probably had his own gear, but, and I'm not going to say I taught him everything he knows. It's not even close, but yeah, no, I would. Yeah, he knows what's up. Epic or Icon Pass. It's for people that don't know. That's a ski pass. I'm an Icon person because there's an Icon hill about 4 miles that way. And if you have been watching the podcast, this you could probably figure out which ski hill that is. Do you watch non-fly fishing YouTubers? Yep. Probably more than I watch fishing YouTubers. Let's see. I watch a lot of stuff about ancient history, like prehistory. I like that stuff a lot. I watch some food channels. Like I'm a kind of a picky, non-adventurous eater. I'm an okay cook, but I'm not like some crazy good cook. But so I watch something called Best Ever Food Review Show, which is cool. And then I watch Outdoor Chef's Life, where it's a guy that like does a lot of fishing and catch and cook type stuff, but it's not stuff I would ever do. He's on the California coast. I watch some really YouTube-y type stuff. Like I watch Ethan and Hila I watch Cody Ko. I watch Leon Lush. So that kind of stupid stuff. I watch. There's one you should look up that's called Broncos Guru, which I don't know where he gets his name from, but it's like boat fails. It's like boating fails and just things about boats and, you know, crappy boat ramp stuff. And I watched that. There's one called Wavy Web Surf that I watch, that he'll take a topic and kind of take a deep dive into it. It's usually some sort of like internet lore, like some crazy meme lore or something like that. Interesting. Some of these comments I have to keep to myself here. Okay, nobody wants to know about my YouTube watching, I don't think. I watch a bunch of crap. All right, I gotta listen. When you keep repeating the same question over and over and like flooding the comment thing, that makes me not want to answer your question because it's just annoying. I'm sorry, dude. Like, don't take it personally. I understand your tactics here, and I'm just being straight with you. It's super annoying, okay? And it makes me not want. Cause obviously, I saw your question. Sorry if I'm being mean. If I had a worse guiding story, I would tell it. I've been asked this a lot of times on many podcasts and other things that are available. I see your question. Move on. Man, that's too complicated. Sorry. Let me try to collab with Addicted Fishing. Who's that? Oh, the Pacific Northwest guys. They seem to have their own club. I don't think they have too much interest in fly fishing other than at a stocked pond from what I can tell. So if they want to reach out to me, that's cool. One thing I don't do a whole lot of is well, that's not true. I do reach out to people. Like somebody agrees with me. Thank God. It's annoying to all of us too. I feel so validated. Thank you for your winter fishing videos, but I guess I need another one. Me too, pal. Third January in the row without a fish. What's your one go-to tip or trick? That's a good question. I wish I could have done some more fishing lately too. It just hasn't worked out. And I actually did fish. If you were watching my Instagram stories, you knew that. But I fished like last week, and I'll be straight up with you. I hooked one fish and lost it. And I have all this footage that I wasn't sure if I could make it into a video or not from that day, because as I'm just blabbering at the camera while not catching fish, I think there was some pretty useful information that came out of my mouth. But I think I'm going to hold on to it and wait until I have another crappy day and do like the fly fishing fails super clickbaity title, which is, I did one of those earlier and I took 2 days where it didn't work out. And I made a video out of it. And if you're willing to watch somebody get skunked, there's some valuable information to be had. And I think I'm going to save this footage for one of those videos. I hooked a nice big fish, but it got off and it was freezing cold and I left. But go back to your question, what's your one good go-to tip or trick? Is if you're trying to fish in the middle of January and really like you want to seal the deal with a fish, go with the most reliable thing that you know, go to the meat hole, use the double egg rig, fish the whole fish. Yeah. Do the most reliable thing that you know and just keep doing that. Also, like one of the things that I talked about in the video that I haven't made yet is go later in the afternoon when the water's warmer. I think that makes a big difference. Don't go in the morning. Even if it's a tailwater, go later. And also, like, a lot of the anglers that you're competing against during the winter when it's limited fishing spots, they're going to be there in the morning, and then they get cold and they don't catch any fish and they leave in the afternoon. Like where I went the other day, I was like, I showed up at like 1. I was like, I'm pretty sure everyone will have come and left by now. It was a Sunday afternoon, so everybody had to head back to the city. And sure enough, I showed up there, and there was 2 sets of tracks going in and out, and the car was gone. And so I had it all to myself. Hey, James is here. Hi. What's up, dude? Double egg rig. Hiya. James taught me the sorry, I'm getting distracted. The egg sissy egg, double egg rig. Go check it out. We made a video. Hey, Ben, why do you yell so much? I would think you'd be more chill with all the reggae you listen to. First of all, is this the John Jackson that I know? Is that you? Am I talking to you? Anyway, I am super loud, mostly after a couple of these. But recently, I don't know why I'm so loud, man. I don't shoot with the mic. I shoot with the GoPro, and I've trained myself after editing all this crappy audio that I have to be loud. I have to yell loud. James knows what I'm talking about. I tell him all the time he needs to be louder. And then I was just shooting something with somebody the last couple days, and I was a lot louder. There might be some challenges in post-production. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm loud. So what? I'm also, oh, it is you, JJ. What's up, dude? Can't believe you're bored enough to watch this. Well, good to hear from you, pal. So, all right. JJ, I was just thinking about this the other day. So JJ and I used to live in this apartment, and it was his apartment. I was his roommate. I was his tenant. And we had a trout stream right on the other side of the parking lot. And we would go fish there all the time. And JJ would tie these like stupid, crazy flies that were dumb as hell. But my most favorite thing about fishing with you, JJ, was the JJ drift. So this is what he does. And I did this the other day. That's what I thought of. So you got a nice long run, right? You know, you could break it up into like 3 or 4 sections and do here, here, here. Do the JJ. Go up to the top. Throw it in. It's nymphing typically. Throw your nymph in. Walk that sucker all the way down. Mending as you go. You're getting a 30-yard drift. Cast it to the top. Walk on down. Mend. I saw it be successful many times. I did that the other day. I did it a bunch of times because I was on an ice shelf. It was perfect. I was like out over the deep water, and it worked so good. I was getting a good drift. I didn't catch anything. But so that technique is officially called the JJ drift. You've heard it. One more beer? Dude. I was hoping to be done after this one. It's been over an hour. Someone says they're going to try that. Yeah, man. JJ drift, it works. If the water's right. If the thoughts on welded seam waders? I don't know. Dude, I'm not. Don't ask me the techie questions, man. I don't know if I've ever used them. I think everything I've had is stitched and taped. Welded seam wader, like sonic welding? I don't know. Don't ask me techie stuff. Appreciate your question, but I'm not the right guy to ask for that. Boom. Have you ever fished the Denver South Platte? I fished it for carp one time, and we didn't do very well. I don't know if I have much to say about that, really. I've never trout fished it. Clean up some trash if you're down there. Well, there's carp. It's fishable right now. I was in Denver a couple times in the last week. everything, man, I've been to the Front Range 4 times in the last 2 weeks, and every time I go down there, I'm like, oh my God, it's warm. It's like 50 degrees. I have a bunch of, I'm building a new trailer. I'm like sort of building a new trailer, and I really need to do all this outside stuff, and I don't like doing it when it's cold. So sometimes I'm jealous of you guys down there. Hopefully it's the other way around, because I really don't want to live down there. Yeah, driftless, never have. Looks neat. Looks like a lot of smaller water. Oh, see here, this is a good question. Just came right in. Are you a steak guy or ribs? Steak, for sure. We do pork ribs in a crock pot, and it's like a dry thing, but they're super, pull the bone right out. We'll do that, but ribeye, bro. I just cooked a flank steak right before this. I made dinner for the family, and I haven't eaten it yet because I had to come do this. They all ate it, but I had a few bites of that flank steak. Do a ginger soy flank steak that's crazy, and we do it with chicken too. And I think if you look back through my stuff, I've posted the recipe a few times. It's amazing. It's my favorite thing to eat ever. Hey, from Australia, what's up? I want to go there. Northern part. Do I ever fish a streamer below an indicator? No. Don't have much to. I don't like giving short answers, but no. Kyle McInturf in the house. Hey, Kyle, love you. Mean it, man. When are we gonna fish, dude? Yeah, I was talking earlier about I want to go smallmouth fishing on the western side of the Appalachians. I had you in my head right there. That's what I had in mind. So let's make that happen. You should fly fish Bass Pro. Oh, I thought it said Bass Bro, and I was going to tell you I do fly fish Bass Pro. Here's a good question. Let's talk about this. Hagen asks, is the YouTube fishing scene too flooded to get into right now? Absolutely not, because you probably feel that, I don't know, maybe you feel the same way as I do. When I watch fishing YouTube, most of it sucks. So no. And if I could, Kyle, I see you, pal. It's no different than when I started. And if you want to be fly fishing specific, no, man, there's not many people doing it, and most of them aren't very good. Or I shouldn't say good, it's just not entertaining to me, but still, I'm not even entertaining to me. But no, it's not too flooded. I felt like my channel was pretty successful right away, and there's no reason nobody else can do that. Just got to have good stuff. If I can give some unsolicited advice, don't pigeonhole yourself into one thing. Be versatile and post regularly. Maybe not on a rigid schedule like I have, but often and consistently. But along those lines, and James, I see still in here commenting, man, I'm like ready to do the reacting to fly fishing YouTubers video. Let's do it, dude. I think we can do it in a fun way, and I could do that myself, or I could do it with you, and I think it'd be more fun to do it with you. No, it's definitely not saturated. Bring it on. Just do a good job at it. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I hear the family knocking around. I need to go do stuff. So this will be, I'm going to cut it off now, but this is going to be uploaded or going to go live tomorrow, or published tomorrow morning. This is my video for Monday. I took a little break. To be honest, I took the easy way out, and I'm okay with it. Been really busy lately. So thanks for watching. If you made it through all of that, you're amazing. If you watched for 5 minutes, you're awesome too. I appreciate it. If you just that means you watched the last 5 minutes. Go back. We talked about a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna shut it down. Love you guys.